Hey y'all, welcome back to Vanta EDC. We're going to be getting into a new knife, a fairly new design that just got released earlier this week. And it is a button lock design. It is from a company that has been putting out some other cool, exciting button lock designs lately. And so I've been looking forward to this one for a little bit now, ever since I found out about it basically. And so we're going to go ahead and get right into it. And we're going to open it with my wife's CJRB Pyrite, which this is the Knife Center exclusive with the Packwood scales. She likes it so far. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into this. If I can, I'm going to try to get into this without revealing any any serious information here. So there's, let's see, let's start packing. Hopefully there's not a packing slip in here. Alright. So off real quick. I guess no packing slip there. Okay. So as you can see, this is another CJRB. And there's nothing on the box that overtly alludes to what is going to be in here. So we're just going to go ahead and into it here. This is my third CJRB that I've really handled. So you can see that right there. That's a fairly new silhouette. This is the CJRB Echo EKKO button lock version, and this is based off of a Laconico custom design. So yeah, I decided, I think as of the initial release, there are 4 versions of the button lock. There's a stainless steel, like raw stainless steel version. There's a like PVD coated stainless steel version. There is like a green micarta version, and then there's this one, the carbon fiber. And I don't love any of the options, at least on paper. But this was the one that I chose for because it's lighter than the stainless steel versions, and to me, like, weight of a knife matters. And this one's black. The other light one is the green micarta, but I don't want green, so I got black carbon fiber. So I don't love carbon fiber, but yeah, I was willing to give it a shot because this is an interesting new design, exciting new design. So yeah, it's this carbon fiber is very smooth. Like, there's no texturing here. It's very like smooth, like carbon twill weave, whatever. And as you can see, this is a front flipper with this opening hole here. And so, yeah, it's definitely heavier than, like, this is my G10 Pyrite. It's definitely heavier than the G10 Pyrite. I think this on the website, it said that, or on the Blade HQ website, which they're not selling this yet. I got this directly off of the Artisan Cutlery website. I think this weighs 3.7 ounces. So I don't have a scale to measure that for myself, but yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. It feels actually about the same weight as this Knife Center exclusive Pyrite. So yeah, in terms of the quality of this out of the box, I do not see any major flaws. I'm not sure like what exactly people 100% mean when they talk about like voids in carbon fiber. I don't know if that's a thing that's an issue with twill carbon fiber versus like fat carbon and stuff like that. But I mean, the carbon fiber looks good. Yeah, so we're gonna, the centering, how does the centering look? Centering looks pretty dang good to me. If you can see right there, it looks pretty dang good. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and open this. We'll start. I'm just gonna do the reverse flick first. Let's see. Okay. Nice. Let's see if I can get the front flip on the first time. Oh yeah, nice. Not hard at all. Oh man, yeah. This is only my second front flipper that I've got any real hands-on. I mean, not that I have real hands-on time on yet with this, but in terms of really getting a chance to, that is very, very easy to do. Let's see with the thumb flick if I'm able to do this. Well, I feel like thumb flick is the hardest for me. Okay, there we go. It's kind of clunky for me, but can make it happen. Yeah, there's that. Okay, so yeah, that kind of, all these deployment methods, that's one of the things that attracted me to this knife, is that unlike the Pyrite, which only has thumb studs, which only, that sounds pretty complainy, you know, for me, a ideal budget lock has multiple deployment methods. So I like that this has a front flipper, it has this, and it has this opening hole that you can reverse flick or thumb flick if you, yeah, you can thumb flick, basically. So yeah, it's very smooth. You know, I don't feel any major grit or whatnot. Let's see. And then, yeah, I guess like the detent that the plunger of the, you know, the button lock plunger imposes, it's definitely, it's not too strong by any means. Yeah, and I don't think it's too light, you know, because I'm not really failing deployments here. The only thing I'd be worried about would be the thumb deployment, and even then, that's more so not a matter of the detent strength potentially being an issue, but just access to the hole, basically. So it's just an awkward angle for me personally. So I don't see myself doing a ton of that, but I guess you can, it's easier to roll that way. So yeah, the lockup on this, let's see. Oh, nice. Yeah, I can't really get any blade play or like side to side play, so that's really good. Forward and back is totally fine too, so yeah, that's great. Now the ergos, one of the things that I think I'm gonna miss on this about the Pyrite compared to this is the lack of a true forward finger choil on the blade. That's one of the things that I love the most about the Pyrite, is just that you can choke up like this. You know, I don't think you need it, but I personally, that's a thing that I like to have on my knives, is to have that forward finger choil. So depending on how much I like this overall, if I keep one, or if I end up getting if they end up coming out with nicer versions, which I hope they do, I might, you know, send this in somewhere to get a finger choil added, because to me that does make a big difference in terms of just how it's funny to me. There's a fidgety aspect of having a forward finger choil, just kind of opening and being able to kind of adjust grip as desired. So yeah, deployment is good. As I mentioned before, I feel like you don't get great access. I failed it right there. You don't get great access to the opening hole with your thumb. I don't feel confident that I'm, yeah, see, look, I don't feel confident that I'm able to, it's very slow being able to deploy with my thumb personally. So maybe that'll just take more practice, but I definitely feel a lot more comfortable reverse flicking with either my middle finger or even my index finger. So yeah. Let's see, hot spots. So when I'm holding it like this, you can feel the clip if you're really like, so notice I have my grip into the finger choil on the handle. There's some jimping here. I wish the jimping was a little higher. You can kind of feel this part of the clip. I can kind of feel it inside my palm, but it's not crazy. There's no particular spot that's pokey or, yeah, like particularly sharp. So yeah, the clip placement I like, in the sense that it's, you know, it's true deep carry. But yeah, it's not invisible in the hand, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's see, how's the strength of the scales. Yeah, so I think these are stronger than the, yeah, because I can definitely get some flex on the Pyrite there. But if I can show you, you can probably see, but I'll do this. Unlike the Pyrite, there is no milling in these steel liners. And I'm curious how much of that was because they're trying to save money on machine time for these, or they just, maybe Ray Laconico himself prefers to have the strength of the full steel liners versus skeletonized liners. But yeah, as I mentioned before, the weight of this is noticeably more than at least the G10 version of the Pyrite. which to a lot of people, like the weight of this 3.7 ounces is not crazy, but at the same time, I mean, me personally, I like knives that are around 3 ounces, closer to 3.0 ounces. So yeah. But yeah, so the handle's strong, so that's the upside. You know, I'm not worried at all about you know, this giving underneath any amount of pressure, although I wouldn't consider this a hard to use knife just categorically. You know, it's an interesting detail here is I think that's a lanyard backspacer thing. If y'all can see that right there, that's interesting. It's interesting that it's that like high up on the handle versus being somewhere down here. So that's just something to know. I'm not a lanyard person, so it doesn't affect me, but it's, you know, I just, in case any of you are lanyard people and care about, you know, want to know where the placement is of the lanyard hole, that's where it is. I'm assuming that's what that is, because it doesn't look like these other two backspacers. So yeah. Now let's look at the blade itself. So this is like, I would say, yeah, like a sheep's foot style blade. You know, it's got this slight curvature to it. It's got this somewhat rounded nose here. It's got this nice swedge. I like that look. The look of that swedge right there. But it's all flat up here, kind of from here to here, and then you obviously there's the hole there, and it has the same finish, I believe, as the Pyrite, which is like this tumbled stonewashy finish. Let's look at the edge bevels here. Let's see how uniform they are. Pretty good on this side. The edge bevel seems a little shallower as you approach the tip on this side. On this side, it's definitely less shallow. It's not as shallow here, so it's definitely not a perfectly symmetrical edge bevel on both sides, but the overall uniformity is okay. It's like decent, I would say. Like I'd give that a B+. So yeah, blade stock. Let's compare that to the Pyrite, because the Pyrite's also a very slicey blade. Yeah, I mean, they're about the same. Let's see if can I draw attention to the, it's kind of hard to get the camera to focus, but yeah, anyway, it seems like it's a fairly similar blade stock, if not identical, to the Pyrite. And if it's not obvious, or for those of you who are, you know, might be wondering why I'm comparing this to the Pyrite, well, one, because it's from the same company. Two, they're both button locks. Three, they're kind of in a somewhat similar size profile. The Echo is a little bigger. This is a true top-down view, so you can see that, yeah, the Echo is a slight bit longer, which I don't mind, honestly. And especially if I were to get a finger forward finger twirl on this, I definitely would not mind. And one thing I do like about this is this actually has a recognizable designer attached to it. So this is based off of a Laconico custom knife called the Echo, EKKO. I've heard really good reviews about that custom knife from Brian from Transparent Knives. He has like a YouTube video on it. He considers it one of the very few nearly perfect knives that exist. So take that for what you will. Another detail, sorry, that I'm just noticing is it's nice because at this opening hole, it is chamfered all around the edges of the hole. So it's not a super sharp edge at all. Not uncomfortable to put the meat of your fingers there. So, and yeah, I don't see that. I don't think it doesn't feel like it's scratching the edge of my nails, like, you know, peeling superficial fingernail off of me. So I appreciate that. You still get good purchase, but it's not aggressive. So yeah. And then the jimping on the front flipper is definitely man, this is exactly what I was hoping for in terms of the fidgetiness of a front flipping button lock, because I don't know of too many front flipper button locks. And so this was one thing I was looking forward to. I was looking forward to the fact that this has multiple deployment methods, that it comes from a recognizable, you know, respected designer, that it's coming from a company that's been doing, I think, a pretty good job with budget knives lately, especially budget button locks. And yeah, I like the blade shape too. Personally, I like, you know, Wharncliffe, sheep's foot, reverse tanto blades, because I like the utilitarian aspect of it. For me, I want knives. I don't buy knives just to look at them. I buy knives to carry them and their practical utility. And to me, I'm very much a function and form guy. So To me, I like the function of a, you know, sheep's foot blade, but to me, because it's so much more functional in my mind, it adds to the aesthetic, especially the way that it's done here. I think they did a really good job here. I do wish the branding wasn't way out here. I wish it was kind of like along the base by the handles, but you know, it's can't have everything you want. Yeah, it just seems like a weird placement to put the branding this far up on the blade. But yeah, I mean, I think this is about what I was hoping for. I'm hoping they come out just like as I'm hoping with the Pyrite. I'm hoping that CJRB comes out with a large production run of higher tier steel and maybe handle materials. So of both the Pyrite and for this, the Echo. You know, I can see this doing well for CJRB because, yeah, I mean, honestly, that alone is just makes it so fun to have this. And so I can imagine I'm going to be going a little crazy on fidgeting with this knife in the next week or so, if not longer. So, and it makes like it's very satisfying. You hear that ting? Yeah, it's more satisfying to close than the Pyrite, which is much softer. Yeah, there's less resonance there. So I already appreciate certain things about this better. You know, I think the overall ergonomic profile of this knife too is nice. This sloped tail end here is nice. The handle's big enough for my hands personally. Yeah, again, I think the only real miss I can think of right now is just if he added a finger troll to this, it'd be a very very comfortable knife. But it's comfortable as is, so I can't complain too much. Yeah. Well, if you have any questions about this, you know, please feel free to ask in the comments. This just came, like, I'm trying to post this the day, I guess the morning after I received this. So I ordered this at the beginning of the week and it got here by the end of the week. And so I'm really excited. I was not expecting it. It said it was going to come a lot later. So very grateful that it came as early as it did. So yeah, look forward to at least a 1 month review of this one. If not, maybe a little bit further down the line, we'll see. But yeah, this is one that so far I am really liking. So, you know, time will tell if this dethrones the Pyrite or not for me, as like my go-to budget EDC button lock. Because the Pyrite has been my go-to for ever since I got it, really, in terms of budget EDC knives. So we'll see how this falls. I don't know if these are still available on the CJRB website, but if they're not, hopefully they'll be arriving at dealers soon. Blade HQ has had it listed as a coming soon knife for a decent amount of time. So hopefully that's not too much longer until it actually is in stock there and other places. So yeah, you know, if you have the money to spend, I think it was like $57, like, seems like a good $57 to me. So yeah, till next time, take care, y'all.